Zero Killed VR sounds like a very cool, amazing game for VR. It's supposed to be a mix of a military shooter with a hero shooter, kind of like if you mixed Overwatch with Call of Duty. And that would be totally amazing for VR. However, after playing Zero Killed VR for approximately 3 hours total, I can say, yeah, it's not any of those things. I don't know what it is. It's bad. Hi, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to do a review for Zero Killed VR. It just came out of early access today, September 4th, 2020. It's available for the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and the Valve Index. I actually bought this on the Oculus store for $5. It was on sale maybe back in June or July, and I bought it for that sale price. That was the lowest price ever for this game, by the way. I believe on the Steam store it's been as low as $7.50. It normally retails for $14.99. The number one reason you should not buy this game at any price, even if you find it on sale very cheap, is that there's no one else really playing it. The maximum amount of other players I've ever ran into while playing this game, and again, I haven't played it a whole lot, just about 3 hours, is one other person. Even today, on launch day, out of early access, I spent a little over an hour today on this game, and I did not run across anybody else on a Friday night on launch day. So it's a pretty good indication that, yeah, nobody else is going to play this game. So you're going to be going against bots unless you just have friends who will also buy this game. And the bots are okay, but they're not what I would consider good. They are challenging, however, especially in the hard or more difficult settings. They're really good shots, and you just gotta be careful. Now, there are 10 different characters to choose from, and they all have different equipment, different weapons, and choosing one of the 10 characters does change up the gameplay. So that is one nice thing about this game, is that each different character has different weapons, different loadouts, different gadgets, and it's kind of fun experimenting with all the different characters and seeing what they do. Unfortunately, because of the low player base, you just can't really tell whether there's synergy between all these different characters and how they would work as a team. Going against bots, you can't really tell much difference. Now, there's also 7 different maps, although one of those maps is the shooting range, so that one doesn't really count. And there's also a day-night cycle, and I guess that's a nice change up for the gameplay. This is running on the Unreal Engine, and the game did not run very well on my 1060 GTX. I was getting, on the lowest graphical settings, 45 frames per second, and I had to run it on low just to get those steady 45 frames per second. Now, even on the higher graphical settings, it didn't look very pretty to me. The lighting was just very poor overall, and the textures were rather basic, and just the graphics overall, to me, looked a bit outdated. Now, there's mention in the store page about, bullet penetration, wall penetration, destructible environment. I didn't really notice that. I don't know if it was really going on. I mean, it's cool that you have a grenade launcher for one of the heroes, and I really like using that. But I didn't really notice destructible environment. It did seem like, yeah, if you got behind cover, they can still get you in some spots. But it wasn't something like as polished as what you would see in like Battlefield or something like that. So you also have a host of different weapons, and some of them are pretty cool. You have stuff like SMGs, assault rifles, LMGs, sniper rifles, handguns, grenades, all kinds of cool gadgets. Unfortunately, the weapon handling here is rather poor. Just everything about the weapon just doesn't feel right. It kind of feels like an alpha build for the weapon mechanics. It just doesn't feel good shooting stuff, and it's just very weird. The more I played this game, the more noticeable it was to me how bad the weapon handling overall was. Everything from two-handing weapons to reloading weapons to just aiming and shooting. Something was just off about this game. It just didn't feel polished. It felt rather rudimentary and belies the nature of this game, which is supposed to be a tactical multiplayer shooter with, you know, like they make a big deal about the wall penetration and the destructible environments, but it doesn't matter when the weapons feel this poor. I also thought the sounds of the game were rather poor. You could hear footsteps, but you really couldn't tell what direction they were from. And, you know, your friends, your foes, they all make sounds, so it's hard to tell. Even when you heard fire nearby, is that friendly fire? Is that enemy fire? You really had to look for the markers that sometimes come out of this game. There's a lot of cool ideas in this game, but once you start playing it, you just notice the AI can be challenging, but it's still pretty dumb at times. And it just doesn't feel fun playing against the other bots. And you can see some reasons why there's not a lot of players in this team with how unpolished the game is overall. The weapons don't feel good to shoot. It runs rather poorly, and it just doesn't look very good at all with the poor lighting and the poor textures. So overall, I can't recommend Zero Kills. If you find it for $5 and you're okay playing against bots, or you just have a bunch of buddies who want to play, you know, a arcade shooter with some hero elements, this might be a nice game if you're willing to put up with the overall lack of polish this game has. There could be some fun to be had here, but like I said, without a player base, it's not going to happen. And I don't see this game getting a player base with just how poorly built it is overall. And the longer you play it, the more that you notice the faults this game has. Definitely by the third hour, I was definitely understanding why this game didn't catch on, because it does sound like a very promising idea. It's just not executed well enough. And yeah, you can spawn camp as well. Anyways, I don't recommend Zero Killed. If I have to rate it, I give it a 4 out of 10. It should have stayed in early access and been cooked more. It's just not well built. It's not a good game. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you liked my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.